right, we are live. Welcome to Revolver Live. I said live twice, 3 times now in the first opening sentences of the show. Obviously, Gary and Beastly could not join us tonight. Would you say Gary went tonight? I can't remember.
The last I heard from him, he was over here in America helping improve Vita sales, is what I heard. I heard that, yeah, he's on a top secret mission from Sony. Well, it's not top secret anymore. Sorry, Gary. But he's trying to improve them Vita sales over here in the States, so.
That's right. Beastly is actually out. He's trying to secure us a sponsorship with the Yovo Mini SNES. We really feel like this is going to be lucrative for both parties. They clearly have a ton of money to spend, and we want that money.
It's going to change the face of gaming forever. And make you toast.
Forever and make you toast.
And make you toast.
The first console / toast maker in the history of toast. I don't even
Not in the history of gaming, just in toast.
So, Wilson, I'm happy to see you, man. We actually haven't played together all week. I've been missing you. Missing you dearly.
Same.
What have you been up to
well, man? I have been up to the usual, man. There's been about 3 games that I've been playing. So I've been playing Warframe and Overwatch. And I've been playing a game called The Forest with some of the Tower Life boys there.
I was watching you play some of that. That looked like fun.
It's a terrifying game, man. If you got some good headphones on and all the creepy sounds of the natives and stuff, and we were having a blast. We weren't taking it too seriously. Like once we kind of got through it or whatever, we were just kind of wandering around. We're getting close to the end game, but we wanted to do it on stream, so we're kind of waiting till we can get everyone together.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, is it a persistent kind of thing? Like, what do you mean by end game?
So, like, there is, like, somewhat of a story. Like, you're just kind of thrown into it with a plane crash. Right. It's terrifying. I hate that part. You used to be able to skip it. You can't anymore. And your son ends up going missing, and you find out you're on an island with, like, murderous natives or whatever who wear your body crash survivors, like, body limbs as decorations and things. And
as one does.
Yeah. As one would expect. So you're cruising around the island looking for clues as to where your son went. And that's about as far as we've gotten right now. So there's this big giant sinkhole in the middle, and we recently got some climbing gear, so we think we got to go down there. And that's where little Timmy is.
Little Timmy?
Yeah, he's in the well.
He's in the well. Fucking Timmy.
Yeah.
Get out of that goddamn well. He's not going to last forever. He can only save you so many times.
It's a history of Tim's getting stuck in wells, and it's getting annoying. But it's like, yeah, I guess the end game is to find him. I don't know. You know, it's a crafting game, open world survival, food, water, weapon upgrades, crafting system, base building, that sort of things. You can build zip lines. They added that recently. So we put like a zip line on top of a mountain, and you can get like all the way to the bottom really fast, and it's pretty cool. So
if you die in that game, does all the stuff you made stay there?
Yeah, you actually drop it on the ground, and
but I mean, like the zip line that you built. Or like
oh yeah, totally. All the shit that you craft and stuff, or like even if you start to craft something and like you don't have the materials and you go out to find the rest and you die, your crafting progression, like the materials that you've put into it thus far, are still there and everything. You just start back over at the plane crash with nothing, and you got to work your way back to your gear and pick it all back up. And thankfully, it's just like a one-button press. It's not like DayZ where you got to like drag everything over and put it back on. That game, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a horror game, so you know, good luck getting Gary to play it. You know,
and getting me to play it. It didn't look that scary when I was watching you guys play, though.
Really? Maybe you just gotta be there, man. Like I had the brightness kicked up a tiny bit for my stream, but it's just so dark, man, in those caves, and that's where you got to go to get the good loot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the sword and the chainsaw. It's always about like upgrading like your melee weapon or how you're cutting down trees or stuff like that, and flashlights.
Watching a game like that, like somebody stream it too. You had like 4 people all in a group, and you're all joking around, and you were throwing Molotov cocktails at your teammates. It was fun to watch. So
I wasn't throwing them at my teammate. I was throwing them at the enemy, and my teammate happened to step in front of them, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I got
looking at it.
I got stream proof. It's on the VOD.
We got some emails from last week's show, right?
We do. We actually got quite a few, so I was only able to pick a couple of them here, and we got some Discord feedback as well. So let's see here. Pardon me. It's a little in disarray. Let's see. Ramforce sent us an email in referring to crying in video games, saying that the one game that hit him in the feels was BioShock Infinite. And kind of goes on. I don't really want to get the spoiler here, so we'll just leave it at that. Also, with the suggested topic of I love supporting my content creators, and I want to know what y'all think about the damn Twitch mobile app because it sucks. And why, when I watch an ad on Twitch, it says ad is supporting Twitch instead of the person I'm watching. You heard anything about that?
I haven't heard about that. Is that a bug, possibly?
Could just be phrasing.
You know what? Actually, I think I might have seen Hassan mention this on Twitter because I think he did mention that it was a bug, that the ad you watch does go to support the streamer that you're watching, but it's just, you know, the bug is that it doesn't say streamer's name.
Right. Okay.
So I think I saw Hassan actually mention that.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't know if it was like a phrasing thing or something like that, like the way that they just happened to phrase it, or
yeah.
And then we have one from Chaotic Joker. Says, love the shows, you guys are great. He's been watching all you guys for a long time. Said the last episode was extremely funny. Says he's been thinking about sending this topic in for a while now. My topic is what is the best way to find like-minded friends while gaming? As a fairly older gamer, mid to late 30s, I do most of my gaming on console, but don't want to send everyone I meet a friend request right away. I don't accept everyone that I receive either, but I really want to enjoy playing the games I like with good friends. Been on PS4 now for under a year, and my friends list is still empty. I think maybe because I suffer with depression and anxiety, I don't have any real friends that I see in day-to-day life that might have something to do with it or not. But I find gaming helps my depression, and as you may know, it's no fun to game on your own. First of all, Chaotic Joker, I want to say add me on PlayStation, Wilson309. I'd be more than happy to play with you whenever. As far as advice to find like-minded people, I think I've heard Tefty say it the best, like, jump into that. If you're like using Destiny for an example, jump into that Fire Team chat. Just be respectful, be yourself, talk to people. If someone that you click with, group up. You don't have to send them a friend request right away. Play with them for a few more strikes, missions. Maybe you end up realizing that you're playing for a couple of hours, and then that's when you drop the friend request on them. You know, you can drop a friend request on someone if you think you like them, and it turns out you don't like them. You just get rid of them as a friend, man. It's not a big deal. You know, Briar, I don't know what you have to say about this, or...
I mean, you know, like, just meeting friends can be a little difficulty, especially when you don't have, like, the start of a friendship. Like, once you have a friend, then they introduce their friends, they introduce to their friends. So, like, friendships, like, network in a way, you know? Like, is you kind of, you gain new friends by having friends. But when you're first starting out, especially on an online community where you don't really know people, you know where's a really good place to meet friends is in Twitch chats. Like, there are so many people in my Twitch chat that have formed bonds and started, you know, raiding together or playing video games together and form friendships. Is that sometimes I'll be watching the Twitch chat and they're just like, that Twitch chat is planning a raid, right? Like, is they're like, okay, we need 6 people. Okay, that's it. That's too many. Okay, like, all right, we're gonna meet at 8 p.m. Eastern. And, you know, here we go. So, like, being active in a Twitch chat, being active in a forum that you like if you like a game, I don't know, let's say multiplayer game like Destiny, you know, go onto the forums. If you see somebody who, you know, kind of makes a point or is joking around in a way that you really appreciate, send them a friend request or, you know, send them a message. But, yeah, just getting those initial friends can be difficult. The 100.io, if you play Destiny, the 100.io is an amazing resource where you actually sign up for that website and it automatically groups you into a clan with 100 other people, and that clan has a message board and it has a forum, and you can start start kind of forming friendships in that clan. So if Destiny is your game, definitely check out 100.io.
Yeah, and same thing with Destiny 2 coming out with the whole guided game things where you like basically fill out a profile as to what kind of gamer you are. I think it's going to be perfect. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a good chance that you meet some people in Destiny, they're going to have similar interests to other games as well. So, you know, they're similar games.
I raided with a lot of strangers before I met the Milky Sorloins. And then, you know, we all just clicked together and I ended up like joining their raid team. And you know, that was through our fire teams on Reddit, right? It was like, you know, people just post, we need one more for the raid. But that, I think, is what guided games is going to do, is right? Is you got a clan of like 3 or 4 people, or you got 3 or 4 people who like to play together, and they need a couple more to do a raid. And then, boom, they go into guided games. They bring in a couple people. And what? 1 out of 10 times, you might end up finding somebody you end up sharing your phone number with, you know, like
there's a lot of
friend.
I've met some amazing people through not only Destiny, but like you were saying, Twitch chat. And I've seen it in your chat as well, too. I've seen someone say, I've never done a raid before. And I've seen people form a group to get that person through a raid in your chat.
Yeah.
Just being active in a Twitch chat can lead to amazing things. You know what I mean? Like you can form some really, really cool bonds and friendships that way.
Yeah. Yeah,
I believe it was the Plebvengers that formed in your chat. The Plebvengers, they call themselves.
Clan.
Yeah. Good group of people.
Yeah, for sure. Every time I see that name, I chuckle to myself, too.
They're good people, man. They're a gag. So Super Dan with another super message here, super topic suggestion. Wanted us to talk about the SNES Mini, which is a shocker. The success of the SNES Mini, which I believe we will be getting into this episode. Don't we have that as a topic up there? Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Beasley's not here, but he did leave us a topic. He wanted to make sure we got his SNES Mini topic. So why don't we start with that one?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's jump right into it, man.
All right. So I'm going to read it verbatim right off of Beasley's little thing. So he's talking about the mini universe. The NES, the SNES Classic mini consoles have been a huge success. So how far can Nintendo go with their mini consoles? Can and should Sony and Microsoft jump on the bandwagon and release mini consoles of their older consoles? And has Nintendo started a new trend? So why don't we kind of dissect this and go? He's got kind of 3 questions in here. Why don't we start with the first one? How far can Nintendo go with their mini consoles?
I think about up to N64.
You think
maybe not even GameCube?
Just those maybe 3.
I think once they hit N64, they will have to start doing things like Game Boy. Any of the maybe Game Boy Advance, something like that. I don't know, but it's already portable. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they would tap into some way to get it back onto your television. You know what I mean? Like,
what if they just re-released like a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color and just had like 30 preloaded games on it?
I'd buy it.
I'd buy that too. That's actually really.
I'd buy it.
That's really interesting to me.
I think they could go about as far as the technology of having a mini console or something with preloaded games can go, because they're not. Let's be real. You're not going to get. I don't know. Could you get a GameCube Mini? I don't know if the technology is that far to have something that small just on Flash. I mean, I know there's GameCube emulators and stuff like that, and they're not very good.
Yeah, you know, I don't know really. I don't know what how much data those discs would have taken up, but I mean, storage is cheap now on Flash storage. I mean, you can buy I don't know how many gigabytes on a Flash card for like nothing anymore. So
yeah,
those were like those little MIDI discs anyway, right? On the GameCube.
Yeah, they were the small ones for sure. Yeah.
My question is more like, does the library support that kind of thing, and is the community going to get behind an N64 or a GameCube like that has 30 games on it, or will they have to pull something out of their hat like Star Fox 2?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, because I'm going to be honest, man, personally, and I know a lot of people are probably going to hate me for this, but like the N64 was cool, but it was not one of my favorite Nintendo consoles. It did not have the strongest library.
There are 2 games that I remember from that console. One was a very good version of Super Mario Kart, or one that I liked a lot anyway. and one was GoldenEye. And everything else on that, I was playing the PlayStation. Like
I can maybe think of 10 titles that I would put on an N64 Mini.
Super Mario, Super Mario would be a big one.
Super Mario, Shadows of the Empire, Legend of Zelda. What else do we got here?
We did have a couple of good Legends of Zelda. Legend of Zeldas.
No, I guess you could say
what's the plural of Legend of Zelda?
Zeldas, Zeldai.
Zeldai? Legend of Zeldai?
Wave, yeah, like M-Kosa says Wave Race, it was cool, but if you're going to put a racing game in there, why not, Mario Kart? That's the definitive racing game, in my opinion, or Cruisin' USA, Boozin' USA, as we called it the other day.
That's right.
Banjo-Kazooie, that's a good one. Thank you, chat. You're really helping me out here. See, I'm struggling to find, you wouldn't be able to shut me up right now if we were talking about Super Nintendo or Nintendo or something like that, but
those
in
games
my
don't
opinion,
hold up that well either, if you ask me. I mean, you look at Banjo-Kazooie or Wave Race 64 or even Perfect Dark, Perfect Dark Zero is getting mentioned in the chat, or even GoldenEye. Mm-hmm. Those games feel archaic now, like because they were really like that first jump into 3D. Whereas, like if you look at SNES, like that was 2D, but it had been 2D gaming had been started years and years ago, and it was multiple evolutions of 2D gaming. And even though the graphics don't look as cool as modern day graphics, like the gameplay was there, the graphics did have style, and the graphics were good enough to get the point across. The early days of 3D gaming, I don't think holds up that well.
The polygon graphics, man, are kind of tough, and some of the games are a little rough on the eyes sometimes. But getting back to how far they can go with their mini consoles, I think we'll find out, because I think they're going to keep pumping money into that well with what they can. You know what I said? Like, I think you're onto something there with like that Game Boy and some sort of a way to use one of your controllers to hook it up. Maybe it has an HDMI port, or if you want to put it on your TV, if it's like a Tetris or whatever. Like, so yeah, I think we'll find out about how far they can go with it, because they're going to keep rolling with it. And can and should Sony and Microsoft jump on the bandwagon and release mini consoles of their older consoles? What could they do? Like I said, it kind of harpens back to the GameCube discussion we were just having. Like, could they really have a mini original Xbox? Because I can tell you right now, I know the file size for some of those games. You know what I mean? Like Halo, the original Halo was, I want to say it was close to like 7-8 gigabytes.
Really? The original?
Yeah. Wow. If you were to put it directly on the hard drive, because I used to have one of those soft modded Xboxes or whatever, where you could put like the emulators and stuff on there, and what was it called? Unleashed X. You put like a different dashboard on there and stuff like that. And so I remember having Halo Combat Evolved on there, and it was about a 6-7 gigabyte. It's a lot of data for just one game. So I mean, if some of these mini consoles are putting out 25 plus games on them, what could you really do and keep it at a price point that people would want to pay?
Right.
So and Sony, I'm sure they could do some things with PS1 games, but is it going to be desirable games? Again, you're not going to be getting like Final Fantasy VII and like 20 other big games. You might get like Mahjong or Bubble Blaster or something like that, like small little puzzle games, but I don't think they really can.
Well, the CDs, the PS1 used CDs, not DVDs, right? So there's only so big those games could have been.
That's a good point.
The PS2 and the Xbox both used DVD, and I think they had much more headroom for storage on those.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there's some games on there, but like I said, I don't think you're going to be able to, because some of the bigger AAA titles are a little bit bulkier in data size.
Yeah, with multiple discs too. Like
yeah.
Well, how many discs did Final Fantasy VII come on? 4?
3.
3?
Yeah, the first one was the longest, and the other two had a lot of cinematic data on it.
Pop-in CDs in your PS1. Forgot about that.
Those were the days. It's like turning over the fucking record, man.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, It's cool. Like, I would love to see something, that they could do, but I just don't think I don't think they're quite there yet. I don't think they have the history that some of these like a company like Nintendo has.
Were you able to find a SNES to pre-order? Did you order one?
No, because everything I saw, the reaction on like local social media around here was just fucking pure pandemonium.
Yeah.
Yeah. People had no idea where to get one. People do unspeakable things for one. Some on Craigslist.
Ooh, I'll talk all about what I'm willing to do for one.
Hey man, there's plenty of people on Craigslist. There's plenty of people on Craigslist willing to do stuff on there, but there's never anyone with like a ridiculous demand with one on there. You know what I mean? Like you must come over and massage my feet.
Must paint my house.
Yeah, while feeding me Cheetos or like something ridiculous, fanning me with like palm leaves or like. There's tons of people willing to do fucked up shit for him, just nobody willing to give somebody one for fucked up shit on Craigslist just yet.
I want cash money, kiddo.
Yeah, I know, right? And like, has Nintendo started a new trend? Absolutely. And it's not just Nintendo, it's also us as consumers, because there's a lot of really shitty products out there right now. Like I was looking at this Sega Genesis clone that's supposed to have some on there, and it has people are like, oh, this one has a playable cartridge so you can stick your game in there, and it's like worse than emulation. Like it's really bad. Like just the design of it, it's like silver, doesn't look anything like an old Genesis, and people are crowdfunding these things because it's the next hot thing. Oh, this is going to be the Sega Genesis flashback, or the Sega Mini that everyone's been wanting, and it's just absolute garbage. And consumers are partially to blame for that, in my opinion, because they keep funding. Yeah, they keep funding it.
Oh,
yeah,
that's like a company out of South America somewhere. It's not actually Sega that's making that, but it looks like it's all Sega branded.
True, it's not an official, but like people just don't care, man. Like you look at like the. Did you ever hear about the Coleco Chameleon? Did you ever hear about that big conundrum? How that guy just ended up sticking a Super Nintendo in a Jaguar shell, and like it's you end up running into shit like that. Right. People who cut corners to get the job done quickly, and the people who end up losing in the long run are the consumer, because not only are they getting a shitty product, but they're giving someone success for making a shitty product, and they're going to do it again. They're
giving out money before the thing even gets made. On the promise of it getting made.
Yeah, was it Kickstarter or
GoFundMe?
Kickstarter?
There's a bunch of those, yeah.
There is, but one of them requires that you have to have a working prototype before you can receive money for some things, and I can't remember which one it is. So that one's actually pretty legit. I can't remember. It's one of the two, but
that's what's keeping me from making that beastly sex doll. I've been, trying to get that thing on Kickstarter forever, but I can't come up with a working prototype without the money. I need the money first so I can make the working prototype. It's really a catch-22.
And plus, every prototype he makes, he keeps for himself, so they're piling up.
They don't last that long. I go through them quick.
Yeah, they are piling up.
Not biodegradable either. I keep burying them in the backyard, but man, good rainstorm comes, and all of a sudden there's like a hand sticking up out of the ground. It looks like Night of the Living Dead out there.
Yeah, the neighbors have seen worse though.
Yeah, it really fucks up the mower blades too.
Yeah, pre-order yours today.
Check me out on Kickstarter.
Right. So, what do you think? Do you think they've started the new trend? Do you think this is going to be like a flash in the pan, or?
I think it's going to be a flash in the pan. I think, other companies have been doing this. I don't know of any companies that are doing it for themselves like Nintendo are. Like Atari's not making those Atari flashbacks, right? They're getting other people to do it. Sega's not making those Sega Genesis things. They're getting other people to do it. But what Nintendo's got is like they've got the awesome catalog, and they're actually developing the thing themselves. So they got like, quality behind it, right? They're trying to do it right. But I don't think they could do it forever unless they start re-releasing the things. Like if they decide to do like an NES Classic 2 and it's got 30 different games on it, then they can do that for a while. But eventually the public interest is going to wear out, right?
You're a genius, by the way. First the Game Boy, now this.
I still want that NES Classic. I didn't get it. I do want that SNES Classic. Like I am making it my mission to get that thing because I want it.
I will keep my eyes peeled for you, man. I'll be sure. Make sure you let me know if you find one so I can stop. But I'll start looking around for one and see if I can find a good deal. Or
I'll do the same. I'll do the same. I definitely want one of those things because like those games are special to me in my heart. Like that was a special time, and I don't like the fact that Nintendo is fucking around with the pre-order systems and like dropping them at like 1 a.m. in the morning, and all the different retailers got pre-orders going live at different times online. That was a real pain in the neck. And I was trying to pre-order one, but I was busy that day. I had shit to do. I couldn't just devote my entire day to trying to get a Super NES Classic.
What do you think they should like keep going with this limited thing, or do you think they should just say fuck it and flood the market with them?
I think it's probably smart to keep doing the limited thing. It drives demand. It keeps them popular. Like if they keep doing the limited thing, I think that if they had enough NES Classics last year to satiate demand, and those things were just sitting on the shelves now, you wouldn't see the excitement over the SNES that there is now.
It's true, but you think they could maybe dip their toe in the water a little bit and be like, well, maybe we'll make twice as many on this run because we know we'll sell them. Like people aren't going to know. People aren't going to know. They're not going to be like, there's twice as many around here. You know what I mean? People are still going to buy the shit out of them. There's still going to be a shortage of them. You know what I mean? Right. But I think you are right. If there were NES Minis still sitting around from the last run, that it wouldn't have generated the hype that this one did.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, me included, thought that, all right, I didn't pre-order the NES Classic, but, come March or come April, I'll be able to walk into a Best Buy or a Toys R Us and just grab one off the shelf, so it's no big deal. But that never happened because, they ended the production run before they had satified demand.
At least they told us on this Super Nintendo that it's going to be limited before they even released it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. It still stings, man. It still stings.
It still stings.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I think that's pretty much. I don't think you got anything to add on the SNES Mini.
Yo, Wilson, I've been playing this game. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Call of Duty. It's a new thing. It's a new game.
Nope. Never heard of it.
It's so here's what they did. Right, I've never played a game in World War II before, but they went and they brought this shooter into World War II. Right. I know, it's cool. So you got all these old weapons, and you got Nazis, and you got Americans, and you're fighting Nazis, you're killing Nazis, which frankly, I can't think of anything more fun than that.
For sure.
And you got multiplayer, and they released this beta this weekend, and I gotta say, I'm actually having fun with this game. I'm legit having fun playing this beta.
I'm actually kind of jealous. I might have to try this beta out. What'd you think of the old ye old COD World War II beta, man? First question, other than what did you think of it? Are boots back on the ground, Briar?
Boots are firmly planted on the ground. You can jump a total of about 6 inches high in the air. You can still do that kind of that old school Call of Duty jump shot where you kind of jump across a doorway and you're firing the whole way. But it's it's not the jetpacks, it's not the boost jumps. It's just a little bunny hop. Very short jump. The game is slow, and it's surprisingly slow when you first jump in because, I think since the Call of Duty games, like those classic Call of Duty games, like Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, even Black Ops 1, that game's been steadily speeding up until, the point where literally soldiers are flying around the map. Going back to the slower player Call of Duty, it takes some adjustment. And at first, I was like, I don't know if I like this slower feeling, but it creates a more tactical flow to the combat. It's still action. It's still arcadey, right? It's still Call of Duty arcadey action shooter. But what I always liked about Call of Duty was there was a lot of positioning. There was a lot of tactical movement to having success in Call of Duty. Whereas, if I want to get point A to point B, I could just sprint in a straight line and be a sitting duck for anybody who's got a sight line. Or I could go, here, sprint from here to here, ADS my gun, look around. Okay, sprint from here to here, ADS my gun, look around. And that style of Call of Duty is back. And it's set in World War II, and it's fun. It's fun again. It's still fun. I don't know how fun it's going to be for like an entire year, like I used to play Call of Duty for.
Right.
But for a beta, it was fun.
Well, in the beta, did you get a chance to get like sniff out any of the progression system at all? Did you get a chance to sneak peek it, or was it just kind of like this is what you've got?
Yeah,
it's beta?
there. It's there. I think you can level up to like 22. I think I only leveled up to like 14, like rank 14 or so. And basically, it works like you expect it to work. Like you rank up to level 4, and you get like all your create a class stuff. And you rank up again, and you start unlocking tokens. And with the tokens, you can unlock a gun, you can unlock a perk, you can unlock, you know, any of the things. You can unlock a score streak or a kill streak. You know, there's a bunch of stuff you can unlock with that token. I think they first introduced that in Black Ops 1, where you use these tokens to select what you want to unlock. But certain things, like you have to be level 9 before you can get this gun, right? So you can't unlock it before level 9. It's a cool system. It feels very Call of Duty, right? It's like that was the progression system for Call of Duty for so long, and it was completely unique in shooters, right? In most online shooters, you went in, maybe you selected a character. Mostly you just ran after like the weapons on the map that you wanted. Call of Duty's innovation was, you select your loadout, you customize your character, you go into the map, and then you can get more stuff as you proceed. And that's still fun. It's not as fun as it used to be in a world where Destiny exists, basically, where you're doing much more customization to your character. But the act of playing Call of Duty is still fun. Like it's a pretty good game. Graphically, it's not very impressive in my opinion. Especially compared to even Infinite Warfare last year. Infinite Warfare looked fantastic last year. And
it was polished nicely.
Yeah, it seems to have taken a step down graphically. I'm playing on a PlayStation Pro, so I don't know if maybe the full release will have like a 4K edition or like all the bells and whistles, and maybe this one didn't. But it didn't really impress me graphically, but it was fun to play.
Well, you mentioned you were playing it on PS4 Pro. In honor of our good friend Gary, how are the frames?
They seemed smooth, seemed solid. Didn't have any problems with it. It played nice and smooth. Destiny has wrecked me a little bit when I play Call of Duty because the aim assist in Destiny is so strong, and it really, like, when you aim at somebody in Destiny and they start moving, like your reticle kind of gets pulled with them. So I've become a much more lazy aimer because of Destiny.
I've noticed it a lot in Overwatch with Hanzo when there's like a diva and I'm trying to shoot a Zenyatta, a smaller target versus one of the biggest targets, that diva's pulling my aim assist all the time, and like same thing. So there's less of that in Call of Duty, is what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely less. Like I felt like I had to really actually concentrate on my aim more than I'm used to from the last 3 years of Destiny. I really haven't played a Call of Duty game with any frequency since Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yep.
But it did kind of bring back the feels. I don't know that I'm gonna play it like religiously for a year like I used to. But I'm definitely gonna pick this up and check it out. A nice couple hours here and there.
You don't want to reach prestige level 420, dog. You don't want to.
Is there a prestige 420 now?
I don't know.
A lot of prestige.
You gotta get to 69 first. Obviously.
If I hit 69, it'd be hard for me to stop. It'd be hard for me to stop right there.
Yeah, just take a picture of it every day, post it.
Yeah,
but you talked. You had mentioned. Yep. This is my hella ranking right here. You had mentioned kill streaks. Are they like super over the top? Are we talking like, it's not like obviously like no nukes and shit because it's World War II.
Yeah. Some of the kill streaks are fun. They have a plane that kind of spots your enemies for you and puts your enemies on your mini map for you, like a recon plane. They have these Molotovs, which are basically exactly what they sound like. That's a score streak though, and I'm not good with them. Like, I am worse with that score streak in my hands than I am with the fucking gun.
So you just skip over that one?
Yeah, and then they have a bombing run.
Okay.
You can also drop a bomb. That's a small bomb, but it's a bomb. And you usually kill like 3 or 4 people with it.
Pick the area of where it's at or whatever. Pair it with a UAV or, that tells you, puts people on the radar. Okay.
There was one that was grayed out that I couldn't select. It looked like I'll be able to pilot a a fighter and do a strafing run, which looked like it'd be kind of fun.
That's cool.
But
nice.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's getting back to the OG, Call of Duty World War II. What was it? World at War was the last World War II one that they did.
Yeah, that was Treyarch developed too.
That was a really good one, man. I remember, spending an entire year just playing the shit out of that game. And we've talked about it, touched bases on it before, that like you and I both really like that World War II history era and stuff like that. We watched multiple shows on World War II and played all the games with World War II related. It's just a very intriguing time in history. Yeah. And, you had a first-person shooter in World War II. I said it last podcast, man, that every year I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not buying another Call of Duty, and I end up doing it. And I'm tempted to, man, but it just sounds like there's going to be so much shit to do September 6th that like I'm just not going to have the time for it. But
that's very true. Well, I don't think it comes out till like November, right?
Okay. Right before one of the expansions for
probably.
D2?
Probably. Yeah, but I mean, Call of Duty's not like Destiny. Call of Duty is, you play through the campaign, it'll take you 68 hours, if you even play the campaign, which I often don't for a Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. And the multiplayer is much more like, I'll jump in for 15, 20 minutes, I'll jump in for an hour. If I got a couple of friends around, maybe I'll jump in for a couple hours, but it's doubtful. Yeah,
I guess you could totally have more of a pick up and play casual experience, you know what I mean?
Casual thing. But with Destiny, I mean, you get that too in the Crucible. Like it's a similar experience in the Crucible that you get in the Call of Duty, but you also get the progression system of mini MMORPG.
Yeah, you do kind of get the similar feeling in Destiny until skill-based matchmaking catches up with you, and then every game is like a sauna on the edge of your seat with your elbows on your knees, leaning forward. I'm sorry, that horse has been beaten to death, but anyway. So, you're going to be purchasing Call of Duty when it comes out, for sure?
Yeah, I think I am. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, fuck, I gotta
like
get it
the
now.
beta enough. Oddly enough, the beta it's a private beta only. They do not have an open beta they don't have an open beta. And what I'm surprised about is that it's a fun game. You should have an open beta because I think you'll sell copies because of it. Like enough people would try it and be like, you know what? I'm having fun. I'm going to buy this when it comes out.
There's not another run of betas. This is the only one they're going to do.
2 runs of betas, but they're both private. Yeah.
Pay to play. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, you could go to GameStop, throw $5 down, get a code, and if you don't like it, end up moving that $5 towards something else. But
for sure.
You got to get up and do it. So sometimes you can't always.
Getting up. It's not my favorite thing. I like doing it, but I'm not big on getting up.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Need a T-shirt with that. All right. So, do you anything else? Anything more to put on the Call of Duty beta?
No. I'm sure I'll forget about it as soon as September 6th runs around.
Yeah.
Kind of PC beta is like tomorrow, man. It's tomorrow.
I know, and I got to go to work, and I'm going to be thinking about it all day while I'm working.
Wow.
It's whatever. I could take tomorrow off, but it's just I know that when Destiny 2 releases, I'm going to take days off, so I need to work as much as possible so that I don't. I'm already going to feel guilty come September 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. I'm not going to work, and so I'm already gonna feel bad as hell about it. So I gotta get as much as I can done. But speaking of Destiny 2, this is kind of a joint topic. It's game journalism and spoilers. Now, before I go any further, should we make a pact here that us talking about gaming journalism and spoilers, that we won't give out any spoilers while we talk about this? This is just specifically on game journalism and spoilers, not the spoilers themselves.
That's fair. I was never so mad as when Darth Vader being Luke's father got spoiled for me, so I would never do it for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And what was that movie, The Sixth Sense? At the end, you find out it was Bruce Willis the whole time?
I didn't know Bruce Willis the whole time!
That was on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They're like, I don't think that was the message they were trying to deliver at the end there. Oh, jeez. But basically, my topic is game journalism and spoilers. Have game developers let out too much information on your favorite game before it even releases, thus spoiling your immersion when the game actually does? Destiny 2, I'm looking at you. Like, we could probably talk about just Destiny 2 alone.
We can talk about the last 3 days of Destiny 2.
Yes. Right? Yeah. And I've done, like, I think you had said it earlier in your stream. You're like, there's certain things that a lot of people are quick to call spoilers that I technically don't really care about. Like, if you're talking about mechanics and changes to the game world and how we're going to play the game, sure. But, like, I'm okay with those. But if you're going to give away parts of the story or
story is the thing.
The raid, you know what I mean? I don't really want to know anything about it. And it puts content creators in a big pickle of a spot, man. Because
I feel that pickle because I've been in it for the last 3 days, and I've been trying to step very carefully, and I've made some missteps over the last few days for sure. And my comment section has let me know when I've done it. I not only changed the thumbnail, but I also changed the title and thumbnail of one video because it was too revealing, and people were upset about it. But at the same time, like, I'm excited about it, and I want to talk about it. I want to cover it. Like, that's what it's got to be. So,
right.
For me, I'm like, okay, so let's say I know that Iron Man's going to be in Destiny 2, right? How do I title the video that conveys the excitement that I currently have knowing that Iron Man is going to be in the next Destiny, right? Like,
you just put the periodic element, the 2 letters for
F-E?
Iron,
yep.
And then the symbol of man, you know, the little circle with the, I don't know how you do it. Like, the only advice that I can give, like, yeah, there are some things that content creators can do. Like you said, it's a learning experience for you as well. Like, you had to go back and make some changes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cut them some slack, guys. You know, everybody, you know, makes mistakes and learns something along their way. But something that you guys, as people who watch videos, can do, and this isn't sarcastic, this is actually going to be some legitimate advice, is create a secondary account, YouTube account, and subscribe to everything that you normally do except your Destiny content creators. So that way, when you go into your YouTube feed section, you're not bombarded with things that you don't want to watch or don't want to read. And then now you don't want to look at the thumbnail next to it because your eyes wander. And, you know, so I think that's some advice that I can give to some people. But, like, kind of getting back towards, like, the topic at hand, I understand that marketing is a necessary way of selling your product, especially with Destiny 2 making the distinction that it's a new game and it's not an expansion, and that it has been redone and revamped. So I'm 50-50 on it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm also in control of my universe, so if there's things that I don't want to see, I'm pretty good at it. Yeah. But I understand, too, that, like, there's things that you can't avoid in your Twitter feed. You know what I mean? They just pop up and the eye wanders and reads things and, fuck, I can't unsee that. You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, people are just doing their job, you know? Like, IGN's not going to report on it. You know what I mean? Like, Bungie clearly wants to make a statement that their game is different. And from what I've seen so far, man, yeah, it's vastly different. And they've listened to copious amounts of feedback from Destiny 1. And I think they want people to see that, you know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know, man. Like, I feel bad for the content creators. I feel bad for the people getting stuff spoiled. I feel bad for, you know, people like IGN and all these other journalists that are just doing their job and catching a lot of flack. But just know it'll all be over soon, guys, and everyone will be happy.
It'll be out, right?
Yeah, we'll all be eating from the Destiny 2 dinner plate. But real quick, this kind of, you know, had come to mind. Is there anything in the past that had been revealed too soon for you, like not just Destiny 2 related, but has there been any game that something had happened that press release had kind of spoiled it for you?
Destiny has been terrible with this over the last 3 years. I mean, like, just awful. I think that they've actually done a better job in Destiny 2 than they've done for anything else Destiny related. I mean, there's famously an Instagram account for Destiny that literally shows, before an expansion comes out, they come out and they show every new exotic that's going to be coming out with a new expansion. And, like, it's infuriating because I want to know that when I find it. Like, one of the coolest parts about Destiny as a game was those initial days where you literally, the first time you ever heard of a weapon was when it showed up in your inventory or when your buddy was showing it to you. When I first saw Thunderlord, when I even first like understood what it was in my inventory. It was like the first time I ever heard of the weapon. It was awesome. When I first saw Suros Regime was when Zur was selling it. I was like, holy shit, look at that thing. And then it was like, raping people in the Crucible.
Right. I like that Zuros name. That's his street name. Zuros Prime. But
like that kind of stuff to me, it's important to hold some stuff back. And I don't really hold Bungie at fault too much here for the last 2 leaks that were pretty big leaks. One of them was supposedly, from what I've heard, is that they specifically asked people not to show what was shown in the videos. And the other one was, like PlayStation leaked some achievements. People got a hold of the PlayStation achievements, and in it was the name of the raid. Yep. The raid, and to me, that's not that big a spoiler. Like, it's the name of the raid. It doesn't talk about what's in the raid. It doesn't talk about, what the raid mechanics are going to be. It doesn't talk about where the raid's going to be. It's very minimal. It's just the name of the raid. It's kind of fun because it's way open to speculation. Now we get to talk about, like, here's this concept art. Here's, like, this Luke Smith t-shirt he was wearing. Like we get to talk about all this stuff, and it's actually really fun to talk about. Like, that's almost my favorite thing to talk about, in the lead up to a new release is, like, the speculatory stuff, as opposed to just reciting fucking news bits like you work for Bungie,
Right. Yeah, like people getting out their spin metal hats and
that's
doing
fun.
Theory crafting and stuff like that. Yeah, when you're really passionate about something, that can be a lot of fun. I think that a lot of people are chasing that memory and that feeling of buying Destiny 1 and logging in and having absolutely no clue what the fuck is going on. And I'm sorry, but like you're not gonna have that same experience.
Yeah, that's
almost, you're gonna have a newer, different experience. I'm not saying it's not gonna be as good. It's just not gonna be the same experience. We already know Warlock, Hunter, Titan. We know the base lore. There's certain things that we know going into this game that we had no clue about going into Destiny 1. A lot of people didn't realize. I was one of those people that when I played the Destiny 1 beta, I was just getting weapons, just, try this, try that. I never once thought in my head, like, yo, when the game releases,
I'm gonna play this
hand cannons are going to be OP. Yeah. Hand cannons are going to be OP. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to want a Hawk Moon, or maybe not Hawk Moon, but like, whatever. I'm going to want the best hand cannon in the game. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of things, and people were already looking for that in the beta. With what little bit of access we had, people were they're like, I want that fusion rifle now. You know what I mean? Like, everyone wants that fusion rifle. Everyone knows that there's eventually going to be a meta. I had no idea that there was going to be seasons of metas in Destiny 1. We can probably expect that now in Destiny 2 going forward. You know what I mean? Like, so hopefully you're not going to have... Yeah, you're not going to have the same experience. It's going to be different, but I totally respect you for not wanting to know anything going in. I get it, Yeah.
I think the other spoiler that got leaked this week, and I'm not going to say specifically what it was, but it has to do with, like, character progression. I think that was more damaging because imagine the cool event it would have been when we figured that out as a community for ourselves. Like, oh my God, that is huge. And for Bungie to have kept that secret and see it leaked in the way it was when they specifically asked for it not to be included in those videos, which they gave to news outlets, man, that was a real bummer to me. That's a real bummer. And, as a content creator, I talked about it because I felt like I had to. But, like, I kind of learned something, too, during that, is that, like, look, I can talk about this stuff in the video, but I started putting, like, spoiler alert, like, right at the beginning of the video, like, in the title. And in that one, I actually had a spoiler as a thumbnail. And people said, you can't have spoiler alert in the title and, like, give away the spoiler in the thumbnail. So I changed the thumbnail, I changed the title, and I think that's just how I'm going to move forward in all this stuff, is I'll talk about the stuff because, people want to hear about it. but I'm not gonna like. There's not gonna be any hint to it in the thumbnail. There's not gonna be any hint to it. Like there might be like something about like, hey, you know, there's a progression system change that I think you guys are gonna be really excited about in the title. But I'm just gonna try. Absolutely gonna try my heart out to not spoil things in the title and in the thumbnail.
Yeah, and it is a magical experience figuring everything out as a community. You know what I mean? Like when, what was it? The whole Outbreak Prime thing was amazing. Figuring it out as a community.
Taken King had multiples of those, right? Is they had like that side quest to get the sniper, the
Black Spindle.
They had the Oryx weapon. What was that called?
Touch of Malice.
Touch of Malice. There was
Malice.
All sorts of stuff in the Taken King, and the fact that the guys who developed the Taken King are now in charge of developing the whole game makes me think they're going to double down on that secret stuff.
They had actually come out and said to expect more Black Spindle-esque things within Destiny 2, so that'll be exciting. They also put that basketball court in there. Oh wait, that didn't do anything.
That's one of the things about the Taken King that made me the happiest, is thinking about Patrick up until all hours of the evening, trying to figure out what that basketball court was. Oh, it just warms the heart. It warms.
I saw the lack of sleep that he had during those first couple of days of that. Like him and I think Dado and all them guys were in there trying to figure it out, and figured it out. And didn't realize that they had figured everything out already. They thought there was still more to it. So that stuff is cool. That stuff is funny. Patrick may disagree. He may look back on it with a little bit of a scowl, but no, not in his character. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't really look back and see. Nothing really comes like straight to mind like in the past with gaming that journalism has spoiled for me. I don't think I've ever really followed a game as closely as I have as Destiny.
Right. Hellblade, I will say this, Hellblade, for some reason, everybody was very quick to point out that a message that you get at the beginning of Hellblade wasn't necessarily true. And it was a game changer for me. Once I found out that, I don't feel like I should spoil it here because we're literally talking about being sensitive to spoilers.
Right.
But it was like, it was a game-changing mechanic. That people spoiled pretty readily all over the place. Like journalists did, you know, like it was the title of the story. And I was like, well, that's a pretty game changer. Like that's a heavy spoiler if you look at that mechanic and how it equates to how you're playing that game. That's kind of shitty that you guys all put that as the title of your video, you know, or the title of your. Oh, I understand why they did it because they want clicks, but. Everybody, you know, when you write a story, you want it to get read. When you make a video, you want it to get viewed. If you don't put the spoiler in there, is it going to get, I don't know. You know, it's tough.
Right. Yeah. It's been pretty easy for me to stay away from them for the most part, to be able to digest what I want to digest. It's as long as they're not giving anything key away, like with the story, like I'm okay with it. Like I actually want to know more about like mechanical changes and, you know, maybe things that are showing that it's going to be a different progression system than Destiny 1, you know, like I'm okay with some of that stuff. Well, some of it, man, it's a fine line, dude. Like it's such a fine line to even say what I'm okay with and not okay with. Like it's a touchy subject, man.
I think at this point, right, with like the level of spoilers that are hidden, if you feel like you want an unspoiled Destiny experience, you should just turn it off, right? It's turn off YouTube. Check, you know, log back into YouTube on the 7th, you know?
Yeah. Or like if you have to have it, like I said, just make that secondary account and resubscribe to all your favorite YouTubers that are non-Destiny related or whatever game news you're trying to avoid. That's about the best advice that I could give. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that, me included, it's really hard for me to come home after a long day of work and stay off YouTube or Twitch because I don't have cable television. I just have the internet. Like, I'm not a fan of cable TV. We've talked about getting it before. They keep wanting to give it to us cheaper and cheaper because I keep turning them down. And I'm almost to the point where I feel like they're going to pay me to take cable television from them. But
you know what these 30 bastards did to me, Wilson?
What they do?
I was complaining about this on Twitter, actually, last night. I don't have cable. I haven't had it for years. I've been using the internet to get, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Twitch, whatever entertainment I want. So they've realized that they're making less and less money off their cable subscription and that everybody's using the data. So they instituted a data cap in my area. And it's not like a hard cap. It's a soft cap where if you go over the monthly allotment of data, then they start charging you $10 for every 50 gigabytes. So here I am, cruising along, not using any more or less data than I was, 6 months ago. And all of a sudden, my internet bill goes up by $120 a month because I'm using too much data. Like their arbitrary limit of how much data I'm allowed to use before they charge me more money. So it's like, they clearly they know that I'm not watching cable, so they want to charge me for not watching cable. Like that's how I see it. It's literally that's the way I see it. It's like, you're using all this data because you're watching YouTube videos, you're watching Netflix, you're doing all this stuff. You're not watching our cable, so we're going to charge you anyway. So you might as well, turn off YouTube, start watching cable. It'll be cheaper.
Yeah, and it's really hard for me. Like I was saying, it's hard because some people that don't have cable, Twitch, YouTube is essentially a channel to them. You know what I mean? Like a portal to whatever interesting things that they want to watch and stuff. So I get it, but man, I just hope everybody hangs in there. Doesn't really take it personally. Content creators are just trying to do what they got to do. And
I'm taking it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to war over this. I'm actually I need your help because I'm crafting a mace, but I think it'd be really cool if it had glass stubs on it because I really think once those crack against the head, the glass is going to break up. It's going to be just an absolutely fantastic weapon.
We can make that happen. We'll have to make multiples though, because it will break. So it does have a one time. It is a one hitter quitter. Well,
I'll get back to you on how many heads I want to crack.
And, shit. It's a good place to start. We'll talk about wholesale if you need over 10. But oh goodness. But anything else about game journalism and spoilers?
It's a tough line, right? Because
it really is.
As if you're covering a game, you want to break that story.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that. And then if you do break that story, you want people to know that that you're breaking this story, so you put it in the title. Right?
Right.
So it's tough to do. It's a tough line, tough thing to do. If you're concerned about it, that Bungie's got to be livid right now, right? They've got to be pissed off. Because some pretty major stuff has been spoiled here at this point.
Well, they won't be given access to anything they're doing in the future again. They ruined that for themselves, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Bungie won't be giving them access to their next DLC to play and report on.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure that matters a great deal. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything retroactively. If you make a name for yourself based off of doing something like this, then does future access matter as much?
I mean, I guess it doesn't let's be real. Destiny 2 is big news. An upcoming expansion probably isn't going to be as big.
Right.
Yes, it's going to be big to us, you know what I mean? But this is a new game. This is the sequel. This is D2, the Mighty Ducks,
D2.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
No more Emilio Estevez. He's fucking out.
He's out of here. He's out of here. Get him out. But I could see that they just kind of, the damage is done. Fuck it. We got it out there. Who cares if they don't invite us back? Because, it's not going to draw the numbers for an expansion as it would a sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just not thinking long term, you know what I mean? But I think it would be smart on Bungie to be we're not giving you access to anything more in the future so that
Activision at large,
Yeah, Activision at large, so that other companies like IGN or Kotaku or whatever will respect the wishes. Hey, we let you in. We gave you access to our entire campaign of Destiny. We'd appreciate it if there was a couple things. You know what I mean? They took them in. They gave them access to the game. They basically did them a favor.
Fresh bagels, too. Fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, no soft drinks and party
they
hats.
Lenders fucking bagels. These were fresh bagels.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that it was it was like a birthday party. It was amazing. And then they went against hired a clown. And then they went against their wishes and like revealed some stuff that they specifically not asked them to. So like I don't see those people getting invited back and to review anything that Destiny 2 has to offer in the future, or maybe Destiny 3 for that matter. I mean, maybe the shit list is always up on the refrigerator and they never forget. You know what I mean?
Or any future Blizzard products, or any future Call of Duty, or Activision's got a lot of big name properties that a gaming website wants to cover.
Do you think they made him sign an NDA?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm positive.
So what could the repercussions be of that? Like,
it could be legal repercussions. I don't know if it's worth pursuing, like monetarily, but they definitely had to sign an NDA if they got early footage.
Yeah, they're probably screwed of being able to get. They're probably just going to be reporting off stuff that they reporting secondhand from here on out. You know what I mean?
Parroting news.
Yep, totally. Sucks for them, but
there's a lot of websites that have been very successful doing exactly that. So maybe it's fine.
It's true. Yeah. Not hating, just stating. But should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, talk to me about HD remakes.
HD remakes. So speaking of game developers, are game developers running short on new ideas with all the HD remakes that are out there? With the amount of remastered HD remakes that have been made, does anyone out there feel that game development is taking the easy route or even running short on new ideas for games? There's a lot of games out there, like Skyrim has been remastered and redone so many fucking times, dude. I can't even begin to put a number to it. 7 times. It's been re-released, and they did an HD remake for it, and which was gorgeous, which I bought it, but Kingdom Hearts has done it, Call of Duty's done it, God of War, Halo, Crash Bandicoot, Shadow of the Colossus. And there's even a Final Fantasy VII remake in the works. So like, how do you feel about HD remakes, and when is the correct time to possibly drop said HD remake of a classic game?
I don't think this is an idea thing. I think it's a money thing, right? It's like I think if you walked into a development studio, you could probably interview any 3 people at random and get 5 amazing ideas for a brand new video game. The problem is getting the money together to make those ideas become a full game, right? Everybody's got a fucking idea. Making it fucking happen, that's a different story altogether, right?
No.
So I don't think it's an idea thing, but what these remastered and these HD remakes do present is an easy opportunity to make a little bit more money off of something that you've already developed. Building out a game like Skyrim costs a fortune, right? And if you can literally just take all the same assets you have, but make some tweaks to an engine to allow it to run at 4K, or maybe add in some texture mapping or texture work that increases how it looks at 4K, and then resell it for $30 or $40, or if you can adjust the engine to run on a Switch, or if you can adjust the engine to run in VR and resell it again for $60 to a whole new audience, it makes good business sense, right? If I could make the same video and post it 7 days a week, of course I'm going to do that, because that's just free money. Free money is good. I like free money. Everybody likes free money. You know what people don't like? Hard money. Things that you got to work hard for. It's hard. I don't want to do that. I want free stuff. Free stuff is good.
It's an awesome 4-letter word.
Free is my favorite word.
I think you're absolutely right about that, dude. I think it's, obviously, there's let's be real, there's probably never going to be a shortage of ideas as long as people are around. People are constantly going to be thinking, innovating, thinking of the next best thing, the next best step, or everyone's got a story that needs to be told. You know what I mean? And I do think, it is totally a cash grab thing. Like, it's easy money. Like you said, the amount of time and effort that they have to put in for the amount of money that will return to them is worth it. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely an easy way to cash in on millions of dollars. Like, when do you think is like the correct time to drop an HD remake? Like, I had mentioned Final Fantasy VII, but man, that game came out many a console generations ago. So, that one I don't really have a gripe about. People have been crying about a Final Fantasy VII remake till about like 2 years after the game came out. You know, once they had sunk their teeth into the game and experienced everything, they wanted more from the beginning. But like, do you think like it was maybe too soon for a Skyrim HD remake, or when they did the Halos, all the Halos? Like, yeah, the first one came out a long time ago, but did they really have to throw 2 and 3 and... No, I don't think ODST was in that. No, it was just 1, 2, and 3, I believe. That was in the Master Chief.
ODST in like afterward though.
I'm sure Chad will let us. I'm sure Chad will let us know. But yeah, and I mean, like, Ash makes a good point in chat that Final Fantasy is an actual remake and not like an HD mix. But I guess that was more like kind of harping on like the idea of running out of ideas and stuff like that, which we pretty much talked about and said that that's probably not the case.
Like, here's the thing, right? Is that for every HD remake out there, you're gonna find somebody who either A, hasn't played the game, and they're like, oh, you know what, I missed it the first time around, but now that they did an HD remake on the current set of consoles or for new PC hardware, maybe I will give that a shot. You know, maybe I missed Metro 2333 the first time around, or I'm trying to look at your list here. Shadow of the Colossus the first or second time around. Maybe this third time around for Shadow of the Colossus, though. That's my time.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, somebody had also mentioned Last of Us Remastered. You know, that was just a couple years apart by the time. I kind of felt like that game should have waited to have come out on PlayStation 4 to begin with.
You might be right about that. I'll tell you though, if Beastly was here, he'd be telling you how much he loves that remastered edition because it's his favorite game. It continues to be his favorite game. He plays it on the daily. If you go to his YouTube channel, he's still posting videos of The Last of Us, and now he plays the remastered edition, and he's happy to have it because he's glad he's not playing it on the PS3. So even though like that game doesn't hold the place in my heart that it holds in Beastly, I like the story campaign. And you know, like a lot of the games that you talked about, they don't hold a huge place in my heart. But for somebody who does have that huge place in their heart, for the minimal investment it takes for the company to do an HD remaster, it's probably worth it, right? Even if they don't sell 1 million copies of it, if they sell like 500,000 copies of it, they probably make a bunch of money based off of minimal effort. And, you know, they don't really have much to lose. I don't know. Do you think it's impacting like the development of new games? Do you think it's like, do you think when a HD remaster comes out that it's like
progressing or halting the progression of another game?
Right. Like Skyrim, or the next Skyrim game, or the next, you know, that
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, the next Elder Scrolls game is getting delayed because they keep doing remasters.
I almost wonder if it's like creating jobs and that they have a specific department developed towards it. You know what I mean?
It might be a case-by-case basis, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, I doubt everyone at Bethesda worked on, you know, Skyrim HD. You know what I mean? I bet it was just, like I said, I bet it created a division with like an actual part of the game development community where now, you know, there are people that are just working on HD remakes. You know what I mean? They're good at getting in that code, polishing it up, making it look better. Like you said, making it work for run on Switch, making it run on, you know, whatever console that it didn't before.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. You
know what it used to drive me nuts, though, Wilson, was I feel like I've gotten past this, but at the beginning when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 first launched, it seemed like every week we were getting another remaster or another, you know, HD version, or, you know, this version or that version. It seemed like every week, and it was getting on my nerves because we weren't getting any fucking new games. All we were getting was, you know, HD versions and remasters, and oh my god! When I saw that they announced Shadow of the Colossus Remaster 2, I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? You just remastered this game. Yeah,
remastered 2 for the second time.
Yeah.
Remastered. But yeah, that remastered though. Gotta watch out for those. I think that's personally, like, I'm sure it's a great game. Like the remastered, I'm sure it's great. It looks fantastic. But yeah, I feel like that's, in a sense, taking a step too far and almost I don't want to say that people are like falling victim to it, but like, you know, you kind of are at that point. You know what I mean? Like, how many times does this game need to be redone? You know, how
Yeah.
many, you know, like, unless we're talking like massive leaps in graphical technology, like they had actually announced, granted, you know, this isn't an HD thing, but like a remake of Secret of Mana. You know what I mean? Like, that's a Super Nintendo game. It's been a long time. Gaming development is alien compared to what it was back then. So,
Yeah.
you know, like I could totally see that, but like there's can't be that big of a jump between the original remastered Shadow of a Colossus and the remastered Shadow of Colossus. Like, they can't be that groundbreaking in my opinion. Like, maybe you're right though. Maybe it can hold up development in some areas for some companies. Maybe some companies don't have a devoted department to handling these. Like, I don't know. That makes me wonder. What was it?
My argument was that it probably wasn't. Like, I don't think it does.
The Borderlands Handsome Collection. Those weren't HD. Those were just like a collection, right? That you can think of.
I think that's the only way to get them on the PS4. I think it was enhanced version of the games because I think those games both coming out for the PS3 and Xbox 360, and the only way to get them on the Xbox One and PS4 was with the collection. Am I crazy?
Okay. I think you might be right about that. I think that is the way it is. Like, it makes me wonder, yeah, did that hold up development for potentially Borderlands 3? You know what I mean? If they're even making one, please, for the love of God,
They've
make a
gotta
third
be,
one.
right?
They've said it. They've come out on Twitter and they said, we don't want to be the company that only makes Borderlands. And then somebody else put another one of their quotes of, we want to give the people what they want. And then it showed endless tweets of Borderlands 3, and then they come out and say, we don't want to only be the people who make Borderlands. Like,
I could have sworn they said they were working on it last summer, though. Like, I could have sworn it around the release. So what was the last game they released? It was kind of like everybody was comparing it to Overwatch.
yeah, Ghost and Ash are saying that they showed the engine. Where did they? Let me know where they showed that engine at, guys. PM me whisper me a link when you get a chance.
I'll be honest with you. Neither Ghost or Ash are to be believed. Not to be believed.
Lies and deceit.
Deceivers.
Yeah. Lies and deceit.
They want to build up your emotions and then watch them crash to the ground.
Just crash. That's amazing.
Bloodborne. That's right. Bloodborne. It was
well, since we're kind of talking about like too many HD remakes, is there anything off the top of your head that you'd like to see with an HD remake or just a complete remake at all? Any game that you'd like to see revitalized and brought forth with maybe modern graphics? Is there anything off the top of your head?
I mean, no, not really. The one I would have said, before it happened was probably Halo. And then, honestly, I was kind of disappointed by the whole thing.
You don't want a Destiny 1 HD remake?
I want it at 60 frames. How about that? Battleborn. That's what it was, not Bloodborne.
Battleborn, yeah. Battleborn.
How about you? If they remade something, what would it be?
If I'm going to go way back, and God, people are probably getting sick of me bringing up this game, but Chrono Trigger would be a really cool one for me. I'd like to see it with the old turn-based strategy RPG system where like you run into an enemy and it brings you to the battle scene, and there's people on the left, right, top or bottom, however you want to do it. And the cool thing about Chrono Trigger was back in the Super Nintendo day was you actually saw your character move and physically do the attack, and they could do so much cool stuff with that now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'd necessarily want it to take like a Final Fantasy 15 route where it's like an action RPG. I would still want like it to be like turn-based and stuff like that. But maybe that or Earthbound. There's a lot of RPGs, man. I think that would make fantastic complete remakes. Earthbound would be a good one. Maybe if they did Super Mario Brothers 3 with the new open world style of Mario, but kept the Super Mario 3 storyline of having to go to each castle and get the magic wand from one of Koopa's kids and turn the king of that particular land back into a human. You remember that? You'd go In Super Mario 3, you'd get done beating the boss, you'd get the wand, and you'd come down, and the guy in that land would turn back to normal or whatever.
Yeah.
I think like that would be pretty cool with like a modern Mario, like kind of open world-esque progression.
I like that. I like that.
Mario 3.
I like how you're reaching further back too. Like,
yeah,
because if you brought those games into modern eras, you'd have to change up the gameplay somewhat. You know, it wouldn't just be we're slapping a new coat of paint on this game that's only 3 years old. It's like, you know, we have to, like, some of these mechanics just aren't going to work in the modern age, right? When I play Halo, it's like, this game was amazing when it came out in 2001, but now it feels archaic. It feels slow. The fact that there's no sprint button, the fact that there's no ADS button, like these things just feel weird. It feels like I'm literally moving in molasses. At the time, that game was absolutely incredible. Now it's like, this is kind of a chore to play now. Like it just doesn't.
It was high octane even back then, and like you said, just the speed of it doesn't hold up. I remember you saying that when you were streaming the Master Chief Collection. There's some really cool stuff in chat, man. I'm seeing like Mega Man, Earthworm Jim. Those would be fantastic.
Earthworm Jim, I loved.
Knights of the Old Republic.
I could go for. I don't know the actual how to pronounce this. It's Chaikin the Forever Man. It was an old Genesis game, but it was like you had this old dude. He was like undead. He had 2 swords, and he had to fight his way like through the army of the undead. And it was a really like stylistically cool game. And bringing that style into a 3D world with having 2 swords and like jumping around as an action platformer like they used to make back in the day, that could be cool.
That could be fun. Absolutely.
Dragon Warrior.
Yeah, Dragon Warrior. Remake Duck Hunter with NLB. I like that one. That's fantastic.
Oh, did you see the No Land Beyond is in that new trailer for Destiny 2?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I saw that. I wonder if it's just going to be kind of like a tease. Like, oh, you want this? Too bad, motherfucker, because it belongs to an NPC.
This NPC for it.
Yeah, good luck with that. Like, yo, Duck Hunter could be fun with, like, VR.
There's so many shooters already for VR.
Yeah, but if they could do it right and with duck hunting, and you don't even really got to change the graphics, dude. Could you imagine walking around in that trippy ass NES world? And
that would actually be kind of cool.
And you know the ducks are flying around like that, and every time you miss, that stupid ass dog does that wah, 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 that recycled evil laugh, and like
you make it like a cross between Duck Hunt and like Five Nights at Freddy's in VR. It was almost like a horror action game.
So the dog pops up like one of those animatronics and like laughs at you. Yeah. Or if you shot the duck, it'd do the and he'd pop up with the duck in his hand, you know, like
that shit would be hilarious. Farpoint last week. It's like a VR game. It's a PlayStation VR game that comes with its own gun, and the gun gets tracked. That gave me kind of the feeling of playing Duck Hunt back in the day, but you're like inside the world. It's a pretty cool game. Right. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yo, open world Duck Hunt in
open
VR.
World Duck Hunt. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't get Cabela involved, please. We just want.
You know how much money I've spent, Wilson, on Big Buck Hunter?
Are we talking?
We're talking hundreds of dollars.
Okay, I was just gonna say, are we talking above 1,000?
No. We're talking hundreds of dollars.
325.
I bet it's near there. I mean, I've put quarters into that machine. We had near my house, we have a driving range, and right next to the driving range is like I don't know how to explain it other than like a Western bar. Like they have like line dance in there and stuff, and they have like food and stuff. And me and my buddy, a couple of buddies, would go to the driving range, especially in the winter because it was a heated driving range. And then we'd immediately leave the driving range, go right to the bar, and get a couple of drinks because that's what you do when you golf, even if you're fit golfing.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Big Buck Hunter there. And over the course of years, we probably spent, I don't know how much money on that Big Buck Hunter. We'd just sit there and drink beers and eat wings and play Big Buck Hunter for like, I don't know, I bet it was 4 hours a week.
You'd say it's a lot of money to spend on a machine, but, you know, you're creating memories. My question, though, is do you and your homies have the high score? Did you at that point?
I don't know, to be honest.
Because if you haven't spent enough money. You need to get in there and get that high score.
We need to go back and get that high score.
Yeah, it's like bringing back like the true meaning of like high scores, because like somebody would have the high score on there, and then somebody in the bar would get all wasted and come along and beat it, and then that person would get pissed and come back and want to regain the high score. It was genius, the genius money making opportunity.
We actually used to bring our beer into the driving range because it didn't feel like golfing unless you had a beer, right?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to practice golf if you're not? You got to practice how you play, right? You got to practice how you play. So if you're gonna practice sober and then golf drunk, like how's that gonna work out? That's not gonna work.
No.
It's completely different. It's two different skills. It's like the difference between sprinting and marathon. Like no.
Can't happen.
No. You gotta get in there. You gotta lube it up a little bit.
Pound some beers.
Get over. Yo, what's the best game to play drunk at a bar?
Best game to play drunk at a bar. Yeah. Like, are we talking like video game or just game?
I mean, I'll go with anything at this point.
There was a card game that we used to play called King's Cup back in the day, and the rules changed every fucking week, it felt like. And basically, it was just stupid shit on getting people to drink more stuff.
It's a drinking game.
Yeah, it's a drinking game. Okay. You know what I mean? But if we're talking like actual game, like darts, I like darts at a bar.
I always like having sharp objects thrown around when I'm a little bit tipsy.
Well, they got rid of those. My buddy's bar. Cricket, yeah, that's a game of darts, I believe it's called.
Oh, okay. I thought cricket. You meant like with the bats and the...
That's not a real sport. And I'm not just saying that because Gary's not here. He wants to talk shit about baseball and fucking cricket. Like, the ball's coming towards them and they don't swing. They do, like, this little underhand flip. Like, I don't... All right, moving on. Getting sidetracked here. But yeah, good bar games, man. Darts. Like, we can't have my old buddy's bar. They got rid of the actual darts a long time ago. They just got the shitty plastic ones with like the hole on the
that's
board.
Lame. That takes all the fun out of it. That takes the danger out. Jarts. Now there's a drinking game. Jarts. You know what jarts are? Lawn darts. That is a drinking game right there.
But if you want to talk about the most popular bar game, I mean pool.
Pool is a good one. Pool is
a good bar drinking game.
I used to really like Cruisin' USA. In college, we had a couple of those Cruisin' USA machines right next to each other. You get a good buzz on and go play Cruisin' USA against your buddy. In that game, you were like hitting. Rubbin's racing in that game.
Yeah.
And that was good fun.
My buddy's got like 30, almost close to 30 arcades in his basement.
Wow, that's cool.
Up north, and he's got Cruisin' USA and like Need for Speed and stuff like that. And it's definitely fun to pound some drinks and get behind the wheel and not have to worry about hitting someone or yourself, you know? Like,
get to experience why drinking and driving is a bad idea.
It's a good point. A really good point. You make a valid point about that.
Yeah, tennis smiles. Ping pong is a good one. Ping pong is a good game to play when you're drinking. And ghetto hockey. Or air hockey.
Ghetto hockey. I was like, what's ghetto hockey? I can't do air hockey, man. Me and Sam went to Six Flags a couple years ago. I'm like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And she's like, I want to go to Six Flags. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this. So we went there, and she's like, well, I got this cool hotel. There's like a bunch of retro arcades downstairs. And I'm like, oh, you know, that's awesome. And we went down there, and some like 12-year-old kid wanted to play me in air hockey. And like I was like, oh, you know, like starting off all calm. By the end of it, I was leaping across and sweating and knocking this air hockey puck across the way. And Sam, she's like, you need to calm down. He's 12. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I'm getting a little competitive air hockey. I was sweating, Briar. I was getting into it. This kid was probably just trolling me the whole time. Like, oh, look at this fucking try. Look at this sweaty try-hard playing air hockey. And
you know, when you're 12 years old, you don't know the difference between a 20-year-old and like an 80-year-old, too. So he's like, look at this old man.
Dude, I was jumping, leaping across. I was doing what I could, man. And like, yeah, air hockey's a fun one, but I can't do it. I get way too competitive.
I want to hear Sam tell that same story.
Once skill-based matchmaking gets involved with air hockey, I become a tryhard. Kid was good, man. He was 12. He was fast.
And they got those quick reflexes when they're young, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't see any fucking 40-year-olds in Call of Duty competitive teams. You gotta be young. You gotta be quick. You know.
You know,
those
can't be taking fucking Metamucil and Geritol and being on a fucking. Time out. Let me take my Metamucil real quick.
Rub this Bengay on, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, put the Bengay on the wrist. Make sure Murder, She Wrote's being TiVo'd. Notice I said TiVo and not DVR, because TiVo's the old DVR.
Murder, She Wrote.
The Geritol team brought to you by Metamucil Pro Destiny 2 team.
That'd actually be a fucking awesome clan name. Geritol.
Oh my goodness. That's great.
Craps is a great drinking game. It's all very expensive. Craps is a good drinking game. You're right about that. And you're right, it is very expensive.
Ghost, I do no such thing.
Teabagging people.
Teabag 12-year-old
air hockey. Is that all the topics we got? Should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, man. I think that's
I'm having fun just laughing, but
yeah, dude. Same here, man. It was fun, dude. We just the two of us.
We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You and I.
We'll find out next week how Gary's super top secret trip to the United States to improve Vita sales went.
Right. I'm going to be streaming from a new house with all the Yobo money that Beastly's bringing back for us, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
That's
moving.
True.
I'm like, I'm out. Moving to getting a house on the hills, Beverly Hills, man. It's going to be bling everywhere. It's going to look like Trump built it. Just gold everywhere. Just swimming in Yobo money.
Yo MTV Cribs is gonna come by, and Yo MTV Cribs, Yo MTV Raps. That's how old I am. Cribs is gonna come by. They're gonna shoot everything with a fisheye lens. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show them my guest house because the fucking main house is just like, nah, this is too big. It's too much for you guys. We're gonna have to get Lifestyles of Rich and Famous for the main house because this shit is way too hot for Yo MTV Cribs.
Once we made the fidget spinner. Like that was it. But
yeah. Dude, the whole house. That's the cool thing about the whole house. It's just one big fidget spinner.
Always revolving. Yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight, man. Where can the people find you, Briar?
Dude, I'm always around. I'm on Twitch. Just look for Briar Rabbit. I'm on YouTube. Look up Briar Rabbit. I'm on Twitter. Look up the Briar Rabbit because some motherfucker took Briar Rabbit. I was told that I used the word motherfucker too much on this show.
No, by who? May I ask by who? Or did they refer to rename?
I don't want to call him out in public. And he just said, when I'm listening to the show in public, they say, who's this guy? And why does he say motherfucker so much?
Because that's when you look to them and say, because he's trying to get his motherfucking point across. Now, can I listen to the motherfucking podcast?
This guy uses a motherfucker like a period.
Right, yeah. The end, motherfucker. Oh man, but no, you guys can find me on Twitter at Ryu Wilson. That's RYU Wilson. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Wilson309. I recently got the affiliate thing.
That's right. Everybody's got to head over to Wilson's Twitch, Wilson309, and hit that follow button, hit that alert button so you know when he goes online. And hey, hit that fucking sub button, man.
Yeah, you don't have to definitely come by, drop me a follow, see if you like it. If you like it, cool.
You're
awesome.
gonna like it.
We appreciate you guys, but yeah, and I appreciate your sub, by the way, Brian.
Except for Great American Hero, he's not gonna like it.
Yeah,
he ain't gonna like it. Not if you're playing. Not if you're playing PUBG anyway.
Yeah, right. Good call. Good call.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Love you. We'll see you next week.
Motherfuckers.